about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
This is my video update from Yerevan, Armenia on this Monday afternoon, August the 14th, actually Monday early evening, August the 14th. Let's talk about some news, and let's talk about what is happening in Germany, because we have news from Der Spiegel and from the Telegraph that the political elites in Germany are looking to cancel the number 2 party in Germany, and that is the AfD. And the reason that they're using to want to cancel the AfD, which is now at 21% in the latest polls, 21% popularity, which makes it the second most popular party in Germany. The reason they are looking to cancel the AfD is in order to preserve democracy. So you have to cancel the second most popular political party in order to save democracy. That's how it works in today's Germany. I know another country that cancels political opposition, and I know a leader in another country that jails and imprisons political opponents. And that country is Ukraine, and that leader is Zelensky. So the more this conflict goes on, the more the West becomes Ukraine, and the more Ukraine becomes the West. Now, the AfD, they have risen in popularity because of Olaf Scholz's support for Ukraine. His sanctions against Russia has damaged the German economy, perhaps irreparably damaged the German economy. Germany is now in recession. The living standards of German citizens has fallen and will continue to fall. We are just at the beginning of this crisis, this economic crisis in Germany. And the Olaf Scholz government continues to pour in millions and millions into the coffers of a failing Zelensky regime. And this money is unaccounted for, not audited. No one knows where it's going. And for these reasons, the AfD has risen in popularity. And instead of the Olaf Scholz government deciding to, I don't know, maybe look for some sort of off-ramp in this crisis in Ukraine, maybe tell Zelensky to sit down at the negotiating table because he can't win this conflict. It's over and it's time to negotiate some sort of peace in Ukraine, maybe some sort of rapprochement with Russia. Instead of doing these things, maybe cutting off the funding to Zelensky so that you force Zelensky to seek some sort of diplomatic settlement in Ukraine. Instead of doing these things, the political class in Germany said, nah, let's not try to find a solution to what is causing the rise of the AfD and the recession in Germany. Let's not look for a solution to this problem that we created. Let's just cancel the AfD. That's how they're going to go about this. They don't want to solve the problem. They would just rather cancel the party that will try to solve the Ukraine problem and the economic problem in Germany. That's their answer to what they perceive to be the threat of the rise of the AfD. Let me pull up a tweet here from the great Robert Barnes and what he said about this story in Germany. Give me 1 second to find the tweet. Here we go. Robert Barnes tweeted, "Banning populist parties in Europe now that voters prefer those parties in the name of democracy." In the name of democracy. Very Orwellian, I must say. Very Orwellian indeed. So John Bolton, he wrote an opinion piece for the Wall Street Journal, and in this opinion piece, Chief Neocon Bolton, he called for more escalation in Ukraine, blaming the Biden White House for the stalling of Ukraine's offensive. That is what Bolton is calling it. The stalemate in the big counteroffensive. The title of Bolton's article for the Wall Street Journal is "Blame Biden's Hesitancy for Stalling Ukraine's Offensive. Paralyzed by fear of Russian escalation, the administration has sought only to stave off defeat." So Chief Neocon John Bolton, understanding that Ukraine is in a stalemate, as they like to phrase it, a stalemate, understanding that that the big counteroffensive has indeed failed, he is not calling for negotiations. He's not calling for peace. Nuh-uh, that's not what neocons do. What John Bolton is calling for is more escalation, and he is actually blaming Biden for his lack of escalation. He is actually saying that Biden has not escalated enough, and it's this hesitancy to escalate which has led to the stalled big counter-offensive. And Bolton, in this article, he actually advocates for the use of nuclear weapons. He says that when it comes to nuclear weapons and the threat of escalating this conflict to a nuclear level with Russia, that, and let me get this quote correct, that Mr. Putin has been bluffing. Bolton says, "There is no evidence that Russia has the conventional military capability to threaten NATO or the will to launch a nuclear strike. Mr. Putin has been bluffing. That could change, but succumbing to bluffs gives him exactly what he wants cost-free." In other words, what Bolton is suggesting is that the Biden White House escalates all the way to the level of nuclear war in order to call Putin's bluff. Because if the Biden White House threatens Russia with a nuclear strike or with using nuclear weapons or giving Zelensky tactical nukes, then the Biden White House will call Putin's bluff, because Putin, according to John Bolton, is bluffing, and Putin will back down. And that will be it. That will be the end of the conflict, the collapse of the Putin government. But, according to Bolton, there is a chance that Putin is not bluffing. And when the Biden White House threatens Russia with nuclear weapons or provides the Zelensky regime with tactical nukes, well, then there is a chance that the Putin government is not bluffing, and we may end up in some sort of World War III nuclear weapons scenario. But oh well, it's all worth it, according to Bolton. That's a risk that Bolton is willing to take. Bolton's willing to take that risk. I'm not willing to take that risk, and I imagine 95% of the U.S. population is not willing to take that risk. I imagine there's 5% of the U.S. population, maybe a little more, that actually believes that the U.S. could win some sort of nuclear conflict with Russia. But I imagine a very, very large majority of the U.S. population is not on board with Bolton's calling of Putin's bluff. Bolton also, in this article, he also advocates for sanctions against Beijing. He says that the Biden White House, it really needs to start to sanction Beijing. And the reason to sanction Beijing is because of China's support for Russia in this conflict. So the Biden White House, it needs to send a message to China that it needs to stop supporting Russia in this conflict. And the way to do that is with sanctions against China. So he's calling for escalating to a nuclear level with Russia, and Bolton is calling for an economic war with China. And that's his plan to deliver victory for Ukraine and for the collective West. Because Bolton, whenever he's come up with these foreign policy plans, and he's actually implemented these foreign policy plans, they've always resulted in good outcomes for the world, right? Yeah, of course. Because everything that Bolton touches turns to U.S. foreign policy gold in his mind. We all know the truth of Bolton's foreign policy plans and ideas. We know exactly where they lead to. Every single foreign policy idea and plan that has originated from the neocons and from John Bolton has been a complete failure, not only for the United States, but for the entire world. So that is Bolton's opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal. The scary part about an article like this from Bolton is that this is the type of thinking that emanates from the U.S. State Department, from Victoria Nuland, Lincoln, Austin, Ursula, perhaps, Burrell. This is how they view things in this type of manner that Bolton is outlining in this article in the Wall Street Journal. So REO Speedwagon was playing right there, but I'm going to probably have to turn down the volume or do something. REO Speedwagon, I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore, was playing at that bar. I was just filming. So let's do a clown world and we'll wrap this video up. And this will be a short video for today. In this clown world, we have a video that has surfaced from New York City. And there was an advertisement with the caption, "I made 10 times more than a Barbie movie," and it had Zelensky's picture. And this advertisement, from what I understand, was placed in New York by Republicans in New York. And they have come up with the advertisement saying that Zelensky has made more money than the Barbie movie. More money than the Barbie movie. Zelensky's made a ton more money than the Barbie movie. Come on now. He has made a whole lot more money than what Barbie has grossed. He's definitely made a lot more money than whatever the net profit is going to be for the Barbie movie, that's for sure. But that was the billboard that was placed in New York City by Republicans in New York City. And I am going to wrap up this video. The Duran.locals.com. We are on ODYSEE, Rumble, BitChute, Telegram, and Rockfin. And go to the Duran shop, 10% off. Use the code GOODDAY. Take care.